Hello everybody, welcome back to Rain and Pours. I'm Mitch and today I'm putting on my apron. Hello everybody, welcome back to Rain and Pours. I'm Mitch and today I am doing a cloud pour. So this is a canvas that I did for some test videos and I was testing out different pouring mediums and recipes and just different pour styles. So this one had some silicone in it. Now, in saying that, because I'm a smart cookie and remembered that this has silicone in it, I'm going to give this a wipe down before I do anything. Just going to use an antibacterial wipe because I don't want anything messing up my pour. So I've sprayed the back of this already with water to tighten it up because this is quite an old canvas that I have. Line that up. Okay, so like I said, this was a straight pour, I believe. Could have been a flip cup, it had silicone in it, but today I'm going to do a cloud pour over the top. I have several cloud pour mixers set up and I want to start using them because they are in cups and they are starting to dry out a little bit. So I'm going to use up some of the colors from my previous cloud pours, which I will list in just a second. Just mixing up some pigment ready to go. So the first color I'm going to use is This Little Piggy Sapphire, and it looks very dark in the cup. It is a beautiful vibrant blue, and I have mixed this up with a little bit of phthalo blue. Then I have Atelier Cobalt Turquoise, and I believe this is Cobalt Turquoise Light. I really love this color, and you can see, I'll put the two cameras side by side here. You can see how each camera photographs the color differently. It's really, really interesting, but I will color correct them later. Then I have This Little Piggy Glisten. So this one just looks white in the cup, but when it pours out, it's a beautiful blue to green color shift. And then I have the new release Piggy Persephone. So this is a beautiful, gorgeous magenta color with a deep, really deep, dark, orangey gold shift almost. And the way I've mixed this up, I've mixed this up with a little bit of water to disperse, some Australian Floetrol, and then some Liquitex Liquithick to turn it into this paint. I don't know if it's going to work. We're just going to give it a go and see. My other paints are mixed up with paint and Australian Floetrol until I get a 2-second trace. And then my cloud mix, I'm going to be using the Vallejo Pearl Medium. This comes from the USA, you can't get it here in Australia. And this is mixed 2 parts Pearl Medium, 1 part Pearl Medium, 2 parts Floetrol. I'm not exactly sure. I mixed this up a long time ago. It's in one of my videos earlier on. It could be video 60, 61, 62, something like that. Have a look at that video. It's my cloud pour experiments. And you will see how this one performs. And this is our cloud mix. This is what's going to give us those beautiful puffy clouds. So I have a cup ready to go. We're going to start with the layering. So the color I want in the middle is the Persephone. And I'm going to pour down the side of the cup. And I'm going to be quite generous. Then I would like the Cobalt Teal Light. So I learned how to do this technique from Tiffany Bergeron from Willie B Studios. I was lucky enough to take her class at PourCon in Las Vegas, and she taught me this method, and she managed to get me a bottle of the Vallejo Pearl Medium. She's such a gem, and I love her and love her work. And I'm using her technique, her method, because it works. She's got some incredible work, so please check her out. Willie B Studios on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, everything. And then I'm going to put in my cloud mix. Now I should say all of these are mixed up to a 2-second trace, 2 to 3 second trace. And everything should be the same consistency. Then I'm going to do my sapphire. And the reason I added a little bit of phthalo blue to it was just to bolster it and make it a little bit more opaque, I guess. So Phthalo Blue is a transparent pigment, but it makes the pigment more opaque. It just means that there's no white paint or clear paint or whatever it is behind it. And I'm going to put some more glisten. I really want that beautiful interference color. And then I'm going to finish with the cobalt teal light, or cobalt turquoise light, I should say. Phthalo turquoise light, I don't know what I'm saying. Now I probably have too much paint in this cup for one single canvas, so if I do, I will pour another one. So, Tiffany's suggestion is to pour low and slow, and she says to pour from the same side that you poured in from. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to pour from the opposite side, but we'll see. So what she also does is she puts down almost like a pillow just to help things flow. And we'll see how we go. And this is just going to stop things from rolling over themselves and destroying the pattern. All right, so I want to get some color mixing. So if I didn't want as much color mixing or as much feathering, I would pour from the same side. If I do, I'm going to pour from the opposite. So let's go from the opposite side, and we're going to pour as low as I can get. And I'm just going to let it do its thing. Something I did at PourCon was I stopped my flow and I spun my painting around and started again from the other direction. And that gave me a really interesting effect. I don't know if that's going to happen now. Perfection. Okay, so there was way too much paint, but this is good because it's going to spread and it's going to make everything shift out. Now the Persephone, the way I mixed up the Persephone is not good because it went all clumpy. So I do need to get some gloss gel. I don't have any left. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to torch out some bubbles, because I did mix up the Persephone and I mixed up all my other colours because they've been sitting. So I'm just going to torch those bubbles. Those are going to help some of those pearl cells come through, some of those cloud cells. And I am just going to try and centre the design to the middle. Not too fussed about it. I've got a waste cup standing by that I'm going to scrape all the old paint into. And I just need my scrape tool, so I'm going to grab that. Lovely. All right, let's see what we get. So let's give this a spin. We want to open this up and see if we get some beautiful cloud cells. So I'm just spinning nice and gently. I don't want to warp anything. I did use too much of that phthalo turquoise light. I forget that it takes over sometimes. Now I'm just going to stop here. And I'm going to scoop up some of this runoff paint and I'm going to place it in the corners. And this is going to help that paint slide across the surface rather than roll over itself and break up some of those beautiful lines. So this will spin off, so we don't have to worry too much about that. We just want to make sure everything's covered by the end of it. Okay, so let's scrape this up. And I'll just put some along the sides. Just to make sure that there's something on the corners, something on the sides, and all the edges. Alrighty, let's give it a spin. Ow. Without my hand in the way. So if you see something that you like, move your canvas away from the area that you want to keep. So for example, this area is spinning out beautifully and I want to keep that. Those are some gorgeous cells popping up. I want to keep those, so I'm going to move my canvas this way so that everything stretches down that angle and isn't going to ruin that design just there. So I am just making sure my corners are coated. And I'm going to move the canvas off on the angle this way. And all of the paint is now going to move that way and stretch that way. And I'm spinning slowly because when it's off center, it has much more centrifugal force. The canvas is more likely to spin off and the paint is more likely to spin off. Okay, so I'm going to scrape this excess paint. It's looking quite cool. I'm not going to use Persephone in the next one because it's just breaking up too much. But it's beautiful and stormy. It's almost like, I don't know. This is gorgeous. So I do want to keep spinning. I want to keep bringing it this way, opening up those cells. I'm not too fussed if we lose the Persephone. I'm not too fussed if we lose all of that cobalt teal. So now we're just getting paint off the surface so that it doesn't crack while it dries. Cloud pours aren't known for cracking, but you never know what can happen. Beautiful. I feel like that's nice and centered. I'm quite happy with that, minus the flocculation that's going on here. But let's have a look at it. So you can see it looks really, really cool. This should dry nicely. Okay, so I'm trying something different now. I have, instead of just plain Floetrol and the Liquid Thick with my pigment, I have mixed in some sunproof untinted house paint. This is Taubman's product from here in Australia, and that's mixed 50-50 with the Taubman's water-based enamel. So it's my Sheleeart pouring medium, my Bloom mix, and I've just used that to make my paste with the pigment, and I'm going to see how that works as a color mix. So here we go, let's see. TLP Asparagus. Let's go the cobalt turquoise, and again this color takes over, so not too much, very little bit. I'm going to do the TLP glisten. Then the sapphire. I am running out of paint. My cloud mixture. Generous with the cloud mixture. Then let's do asparagus again. Let's do more of the sapphire. A little bit more cobalt turquoise. A little bit more cloud mixture. Put some clouding near the edges, and let's finish it up with glisten. Cool, and again I'm going to use the rest of the glisten on my canvas as my pillow. I'm just going to use my spoon to smush this around. And that's done. Okay. Alright, didn't realize my camera had stopped, my macro camera, so I've got that running again, and we are nearly ready to pour. So I've got my colors all mixed up in the cup. Let's go from this side this time and see what we get. Remember, we're going low and slow. So the lower you go and the closer you go, the more solid your colors will be. If you come up a little bit higher, you're going to get more of that winged look. So I got very impatient with that one, very impatient. So we're going to make sure this is centered. There was a point where I was getting some gorgeous asparagus lacing on one end. Now you can see what I'm talking about by the design rolling over itself. There was a lot of white on this side and now it's rolled underneath. So I'm just going to use some of that scraped off paint to cover the edges. From the previous pour. All right, we're going to let this sit for a second and then I'm going to spin it. All right. Let's see what kind of cells we get from this one. Hopefully we get some nice clouds. Okay, so this is looking good, but I've noticed a goober. And the goober has messed up my lines. So what I want to do is try and spin this more so that this fixes itself. So let's give it a big spin. Try and spread out some of that paint. Fix up this little area here. Yeah, there it goes. I think one more spin and I should have it. Just got to scrape up all this extra paint. Yes, there we go. All right, so it's all gone, all off the edge. Now we've got some nice lines, we've got some beautiful clouds happening here. This is really awesome. Look how it's sort of formed a flat edge. That's really, really incredible. I think I want to start putting the cloud mix closer to my first color so I get some more clouds in the middle. But this is awesome. This would be an awesome base for like a tree of some sort. It's really kind of cool. Or I wonder if it's like a sunset or something with the clouds up here and the water. I don't know, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to put this one aside to dry, and I'm going to end the video here. If you've liked what I've been doing, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.